I recently ordered and read the Upstate bundle, which is all the issues of Upstate, including two mini comics. The bundle had up to issues 1 through 3 and two mini comics, but I ordered it and issue 4 had just been released. So Stephen was nice enough to throw in issue 4, which I want to thank him. That was very generous of him. But just wanted to talk about this series. I think this is just a really cool series. Just to give you some backdrop, it takes place starts about 2018. The main character, Ryan Essen. Ryan, even though she's a girl, that's kind of like it was almost like an ongoing joke, but then they don't kill it, they don't pound into the ground. She is from this town, she's valedictorian, she goes away to college, tries to make it as a writer, and for various reasons comes back home. So the first issue is a lot. It's perfect bound. Just a lot here, and it just kind of goes about growing up and introduces some of these characters that are here when they're young, and the characters that you're going to see, because this is a small town, and like in a lot of small towns, most of the people don't leave, or if they leave, they come back. So you'll see a lot of the characters when she was young, and then you'll see them there as adults. She returns home because her father is dying from cancer, and she's going to help her mom take care of her father. Ryan has an alcohol problem, and what you're going to find here is that all these characters are flawed. Not all of them, but a lot of them are flawed in some ways, or they've had mistakes that they're making up for. But these characters are just really human, and there's so many themes that this series goes through. Just want to talk about issue number 2 before I get into the themes. Stephen does this really nice trick, because following the events of issue 1, like everything that's white page, like white borders here, is like current, but then everything that's black is a flashback, and the part that's in black immediately follows the events in issue 1, and the parts that are with the white border immediately follow the events that are in the pages outlined in black. But the time shifting isn't confusing. It's done in a really smart way, and I picked up on it where it's like black, white, and it's the entire issues like that. Art's strong, the printing quality is better. This is now stapled, little better paper. The first issue was well done, but if you can find ways of making things a little bit better as you learn more, that's what you do. Very good art. It was funny because I asked him if he was influenced by Jaime Hernandez, and he said that he's actually a Beto guy. But there's a lot of great use of blacks and line work where the characters look real, but they're not like anatomically perfect, but they look real. I don't know if that makes sense. But this whole thing of this is immediately after, and then this is after the events. There are these pages. It's really interesting kind of storytelling choice, and it works. I don't want to spoil too much, but that's the second issue. And then when I was talking about the themes that you have in this series, a lot of themes: unrealized dreams, alcohol and drug abuse, having demons, not being able to fight them, having demons and fighting them, and that struggle to like turn your life around, dealing with sickness, abuse, as far as mental abuse, psychological abuse, I would say, physical abuse. There's a lot of different concepts here, and these characters are just really believable, and just the way it's done is presented is really good. This is a mini comic where Ryan's looking up and their dad take care of their dad, and then they flash back to a memory her mom had Robin's Way in the summer of 1986. So, and there's also this recurring theme that Stephen talked about how you have these stages of abuse that are almost like circles, like someone goes through one and then later on in the future someone else goes through one, or someone related. This kind of like cyclical kind of like, I don't know, abuse, but just being in a bad place. It's very interesting, but the book isn't a downer. It's just like small town, real life kind of thing. The second issue is takes place a few months before the first issue, and it's Robert from the group, and there are a group of people that have done time, like a support group that are there. And so what I found in this issue is a really great example of what Stephen does with his storytelling, because there's no thought below. Everything is done through dialogue, but there's lots of panels or even pages where there's no dialogue, but you can tell what's going on because storytelling is so strong. For instance, this is Robert. He's been out of prison. He's shooting up drugs. And I mean, all of a sudden you have the comic and then you just have a needle. So you already know that this is about probably heroin abuse. And there's this one sequence that I want to show where, okay, and it's wordless, but Robert's in this restaurant. He's washing dishes with this guy. Robert can see that this guy's got track marks, so he knows he's shooting up. He just looks him in the eye. They look at each other. And then you see this dumpster, and then you see him behind the dumpster, and you can just tell they're strung out on heroin. And so you know everything that happened, and it's just done through storytelling and the way the characters are drawn. It's really an effective use of storytelling. You say so much in one page, and there's a lot of that in Stephen's work. And he's a really good storyteller. And I'm a sucker for a few things. One, I'm a sucker for good black and white work. Two, I'm a sucker for good storytelling, and I'm a sucker for good quality paper. I'm also a sucker for having enough dialogue to keep the story moving, and maybe enough written word to keep the story moving, but not too much. It's a hard trick to pull off, but as you can see, things get worse for him. I'm not going to spoil the ending, but things get worse for him. He's living with his sister, and he just is high, and he trashes the place. And then he's asking like a friend, hey, you know of a place that I can sleep at? And you're like, oh, okay, don't worry about it. And then he just ends up that he's sleeping on the floor of the diner that he works at because he's got no place to stay. And then he gets fired, and then you see like he's just strung out in some abandoned house where people just sit there and get high. But he's still trying to get better. But I mean, just here with this light coming in, this daylight coming in, and then having all this thing and making it look more like dramatic, and you have this person and just in the shadows here that it almost doesn't matter who they are. They're just someone, could be anyone. It's just really effective use of drawing and storytelling, and Stephen's really great at that. It's one of my favorite things about his work. And the story is interesting too. And I don't want to make it sound like it's all a bummer, because a lot of it is, but it's good. This is issue 3. Ryan is still trying to deal with her demons. Now here you have this nice color synopsis of your major characters and what they look like. And this issue came out in 23, and this is like 64 pages. This is like basically 2 comics for $8. You can't beat it. And I don't want to show a lot of what's going on in the end, because I don't want to show what's going on in the end because I don't want to spoil a lot. But let me see if I can find something here. Maybe to show off more of the storytelling, like here. And this will make sense later on, but all this stuff, and there's just like no words, and no words are needed. Really good trick. Good quality too. And then this is issue 4 that was published earlier this month, and it continues the story. And I have to say, in this issue, the art goes up a notch. Not that the art was bad, I thought the art was always good, but it's a little bit more confident. I love the use of all these blacks. That's another thing I'm a sucker for. Just good black and white work. Here you have 2 pages. You just have one word, and you just have this, everything that happens here, just really effective. I'm just going to show this one page where she goes visits a friend in Albany, and you know, she's there, and she's right here, and she's at the Cafe Lark and at the Lark Tavern. So like, here's a coffee house and here's a bar, and then the next panel you see her with a to-go coffee cup and then drinking a shot, and she still has an issue where she can't control her alcohol. So instead of choosing one or the other, she chose both. So I'll get some coffee, but I'm going to get some booze. And this issue really delves into her teen years and her experience having a guy that was dating her when she was a teenager, and the guy was 30, and he was part of a straight edge band. And it really does an interesting thing where and I don't want to show too much, but it captures that chaotic energy of like the straight edge movement that you had in the early aughts. And I'm not against people who are straight edge. I mean, if you don't want to get high, you don't want to get high, that's fine. But there's also a lot of, I don't want to say violence, but there are some people that use straight edge to kind of like espouse maybe a lot of like pro-white ideas. There seems to be a lot of anarchy, a lot of physical, like these, you have these like, you know, these dances where people are punching and stuff. It's just like a lot of anger built up, and it's like this is their outlet. And it really delves in to that relationship when she was a teenager, and you kind of see like, oh, maybe that's the reason for some of her self-destructive behavior. I'm not going to fast forward it because I don't want to give away the book, but you're coming to a point now where you have to wonder for a couple of characters, like, are they at their bottom and they're going to realize it, or are they just going to fall further? And again, it's really realistic. I mean, this is like if someone was living in a small town that maybe its best economic times were behind them, and this is what you have. What I was just going to say, even though the books are in black and white, some of the covers, the inside covers, are color. So let me see if I can point out some of his color choices. This is a really nice color choice. I really enjoyed this as a color choice. Just really cool colors. Really nice palette. I dig that as well. And here we go. This is like the main supporting characters. So I want to say that I really enjoyed this series quite a bit. I think it's really excellent. I think more people should be reading this and buying this and talking about how good it is, because it really is good. I think Steven is doing a great job. His stuff started off good. He's getting better. He's growing as a cartoonist, as a storyteller, and as a writer. These characters are very believable. You start liking some of these characters and pulling for some of these characters and feeling bad when they fall and feeling good when they have some success. And it's done in a very subtle, simmering, slow cook way. So it's not bashing you on the head with anything. You can reach him at here. I'm gonna find out. I'm gonna tell you where you can reach him. Well, he is Stephen Pellnat, StephenPellnat at Instagram.com. There you can get a link to his store and his bio. He's out of Portland, and seems like a pretty cool guy. I've chatted with him a little bit, and he's just creating this one great ongoing series that I think more people should talk about, and more people should spend money on, because if you want really good independent comics, you gotta buy them. I mean, they gotta be made, but then you gotta buy them. And then if you like them, you gotta do what I'm doing. You gotta tell people, hey, this is really good. You may want to try an issue just to see if you like it, but I think you're gonna like it. And again, taste is subjective, so you may not like it. I dig it, but I think it's really good. I think these are just great comics. I think the frequency is like once a year, but I think all the issues, with the exception of this year's issue, was 32 pages. Everything else, this year's issue, was 32 pages. Everything else is like 40 something pages, 60 something pages. I mean, you get a lot of comic for the money, and $8 for 64 pages, or even this, I'm not sure what the price was, but even this 32 pages, really high quality comic, I think it's more than worth it. So check it out. I hope you like it. You know, I don't like to go on and on about a comic unless I really dig it, because this is not done for clout or anything. This is just done because I want people to buy something that I like, that I think is good. Because if it's crap, you're going to sit there and say, Ray, you told me this is good, this is crap. So I have personal pride as well. So check this out, and I hope you really dig it, because it's really good. Thanks.